It is May 27th, 2019. This is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast. It's Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there and to all our fallen men and women who have defended this country so valiantly over the years.
Those continuing to do so, thank you for your service.
All right. Where do we start?
I think we just start by letting her rip. It's a holiday. We just let it go off the rails. It's just me and you kicking it old school. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was eventful, to say the least. Got to see my niece graduate from high school, which is definitely weird.
Yeah.
Makes me feel old.
Yeah.
I put it in her card, but one of the first memories that I have of her as a baby was at my brother Andy's graduation.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of comes full circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting. I think that might have actually been the first time I ever met her. Anyway, did that. And then we introduced a new niece into the world on Saturday. So we blew up 85 to Raleigh to go and see Angie's brother and my brother-in-law and our sister-in-law.
Man. Yeah. That's awesome.
Give birth to a healthy baby girl. And then we got back last night, and today our last day of the weekend is she's really into plants. We're both really into birds. I'm into woodworking. So we spent time at Home Depot and the nursery. And
so why Home Depot? Why not Lowe's? Is it just because is it a decision based on being in closer proximity, or is it an actual brand alliance?
No, not a brand alliance.
I know you said that jokingly earlier, but I just wondered. Because I'm a Lowe's guy through and through.
I haven't been to Lowe's much as an adult. I've bought a few. Like I bought a jigsaw from there. They were one of the only ones that had this crazy deal on a Black & Decker jigsaw. But aside from that, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time at Lowe's since I was a kid. My dad was always a Lowe's guy.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have Home Depots in Alabama and South Carolina, really.
True. I feel like
Home Depot's
a traitor by not going to Home Depot being in Atlanta.
Yeah, Home Depot is a much newer brand. But for me, where we live, I want to say there's, let me count. One,
Don't give any spoilers away about where you live. If you give too much information, people...
if I tell you how many,
triangulate.
I guess
people start finding where all the closest.
I've been listening to that Michael Malice book, and part of it was about the people on 4chan finding out where Shia LaBeouf kept putting that flag.
Oh yeah.
And if I tell you how many Home Depots I have within like a 2 or 3 mile radius, people on 4chan are going to dox me. But it's all about proximity.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of
right on.
But yeah. Anyway, what about you?
Friday, watched the game. Katie went out of town, so went down to Elder Tree, watched the game down there. Been a while since I had been down to that neck of the woods, and with it being a Friday night, it was one of the few games that wasn't during a Wednesday weeknight where it's tough to get down there, or in the middle of a crazy weekend that like I've had recently. So was able to get down there Friday night to watch the game, and then spent the rest of the weekend kind of hanging out at the pool and doing some work here and there that I needed to get done. And yeah, that's really it.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate my parents. Celebrated their 41st wedding anniversary yesterday.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a long time.
It is. That is a really long time.
Almost as long as Atlanta went without scoring a goal from open play.
Oh, wow. What is it? 500 minutes now?
No, we scored one from open play.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Against Real Salt Lake.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Joseph broke that. Yeah.
Ooh, man, that poll really was, I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter. I'm sure most of you did. Got a pretty good bit of votes, but that loss to Real Salt Lake was one where a lot of people were up in arms about it. It comes in the dying breaths of the game. And
would you say they were real salty about it?
I was indifferent about it. How about you? I feel like it's been a really good cleansing process this season that losses don't. The Red Bulls loss, I think, hurt me more than any of the other ones this season. I said that last week. But the one against Real Salt Lake, it was like I just started laughing whenever they scored it because, of course, they would.
Right. Yeah. Again, I will say it again. found money. That's like the success this year is found money. All I care about is the foundation that's being built right now, and I think that foundation is it's going. I think it's going fine. If you're gonna lose, like, I can't get mad if we lose that game like that.
Mm-mm.
It's just hard.
So what was your vote between the two? I'm assuming you are the same as I am, with Red Bulls being the worst loss of the two.
For sure.
Especially considering the lineup that we trotted out against RSL. It was, I mean, you had no offensive players on the field aside from Nagbe and Joseph Martinez. You had no Tito. You had no Pity. You had no Barco. Gressel, who has been wildly out of form over the past 5 or 6 games.
Yes.
Just looked devoid of any sort of real offensive playmaking ability for a large portion of that game until Escobar and Pity Martinez come in, and instantly you see a complete change of pace where opportunities are being created. Link up play. It's funny. Those two come on and instantly Pity and Escobar start creating link up play on a consistent basis within seconds of coming on, and ultimately end up having a link up play, which ends up getting dished out to Joseph Martinez, who scores the equalizing goal. So for the first however many minutes they were out of the game, 65 minutes, I think it was, whenever 65th minute when they came in, maybe it was 70th. I don't remember what it was exactly, but for a large portion of that game, you had nobody really creating opportunities and nobody that was posing a viable threat either.
Yeah, I would say well, first I want to peel back and say thank you guys for tuning in with us on Memorial Day. Those of you guys recovering, good luck.
Yes. Yeah.
For tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening to us or watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell icon. Make sure you guys get the notifications whenever we go live.
Oh, I know what I did this weekend.
What's that?
I started playing wall ball by myself with the soccer ball. That shit. That
is that like the single player tennis wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it's 4 wall ball over in my neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Like there's always a loose tennis ball around. I think kids go and play actual wall ball over there.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Elliot Beaven, Brian Olivas, Richard Gordon, I already said Elliot Beaven, Brittany S. Thank you guys for tuning in. And
Brittany S. You know she's going to be here.
Yeah.
Every week.
A1 since day one.
That's it.
And then if you guys are listening to us on iTunes and or Apple Podcast or Stitcher, leave us a rating and or a review. We will read it live on the show.
We've seen some shakeups in the iTunes ratings, which I'm not happy about. So all of those ratings and reviews go a long way, guys and gals. So keep them coming. We definitely need and appreciate them. So votes, reviews here on Red Aloud on the show. We don't have any new ones, right?
We don't.
Yeah.
Currently.
So let's make sure we get things back the way that they should be.
For sure. You mentioned Pity Martinez coming in and Franco Escobar coming in, and the two of them immediately linking up. I was listening to it. I was listening to Jason and Mike Conti, Jason Longshore, Mike Conti on 92.9 give the play-by-play. And I honestly don't know if I've ever heard Jason Longshore get as heated and as animated as he did after it wasn't Savarino, it was Saucedo. After Saucedo intentionally fouled Pity Martinez twice in a row after he came in and did not get a card.
Yeah.
Jason was screaming for a yellow, and I loved it. I loved every minute of that I heard. But essentially, it felt like I know we want to keep it kind of natural, casual, but lineup. We already talked a little bit about it, but one thing Elliot Beaven's saying is Parkhurst should not play left back anymore, which he played.
No,
he played on the right to start the game, right?
I think we've been saying that a while now, that him being on left back it worked out against Orlando because that's the way that their offense wanted to pull to his dominant foot. And I think that he's getting exposed more and more as he plays at that position. So I don't think that's a long-term strategy there. And I think it needs to be.
How much of the lineup?
I just don't know. Where the fuck is Mikey Ambrose right now? He's clearly making the 18. He's clearly seen play time. How's he not at least made it into rotation for a few minutes at the end of the game? That's been the head scratcher for me in the lineup.
Really? More so than I don't know. I mean, I feel like we talk about him every single week, but I think it's proving to be that Breck Shea at left back is our best option currently.
He absolutely is. But what I'm saying is it's a head scratcher that Mikey Ambrose doesn't even get any rotation time in a position that he naturally plays.
That's fair.
And he clearly is healthy enough to make the 18. Why is he not getting any minutes, any meaningful minutes, rather than Michael Parkhurst, who doesn't play that position naturally, that gets shoehorned in there and consistently gets exposed in that.
Yeah, to Richard Gordon's point, he started on the right, but he shouldn't be playing so forward either.
Well, you're deploying.
He's not fast enough to track back.
He definitely isn't, and he looks just sort of out of sorts whenever he does get that far forward. But you need to have those backs tracking that far forward. You don't need to have 4 players in the backfield whenever you, especially against RSL, where, like I just said, you had nobody creating offensive opportunities. You had Nagby and Martinez, who are pretty easy to shut down if there's only 2 players that you really need to pay attention to, because you've got Remedi and Jeff Lorenowitz, who are going to naturally play a little bit more defensively. Remedi, who maybe makes some offensive chance creation opportunities, but Gress, who has just been, I don't know what's going on with him, man. He's just been.
I don't know either. I feel like maybe he needs a rest. I don't know if the contract
so
negotiations.
lost in things right now, which is the contract thing. I didn't even really think about that. One interesting thing that I saw, and it sucks because I don't like to be the person to try to find these little, well, we lost because we're short on rest, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, that's what we're going to end up talking about at some point or another. But it was an interesting statistic that Conti pulled up where he compared the amount of rest that teams got, both Atlanta United and their opponent, for each game this season. And over half of the games that Atlanta United has played, the opponent has had more time to rest and recover than Atlanta United has. And that's not even counting the whole flight, travel, training, everything else that Atlanta United is having to deal with those lesser days rest. So,
yeah, that's interesting.
And in this run of games that we'll have this week, Wednesday against Minnesota, and then who do we have this weekend? Chicago on Saturday. Will be the first time this season that we've got like Minnesota traveling with less days rest to us playing at home with a little bit more rest or something like that.
Yeah, Wednesday at 7:00, which is always fun in Atlanta to get downtown to a game for 7:00 kick.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it. I'm in a conference this week, so
and then Saturday at 6 at home, also against Chicago. We have to make up these games. Harrison Hibbert had pointed out on Twitter, talking about just how rough the run of form has been and how inconsistent it's been for Atlanta, Sporting KC, New York Red Bulls, and how much of an impact and how bungled the schedule has been by MLS when dealing with the CONCACAF Champions League.
Elliot Beaven brings up the point that you were talking to me about the announcers trying to say it wasn't a goal.
Okay, yeah. So I get home at the aforementioned graduation. We go out to dinner. I leave and I turn on the radio. I'm listening to it. I have a long drive ahead of me back home, and I hear Joseph equalize. We get close to the end of regulation, or in the stoppage time. I pull up into the driveway. I quick get out. I get into the house. Angie's watching it on her phone. And I quick look down. And I said, shit, did we just give up that game? She's like, no, they're saying it's not a goal. But that's not at all what they were saying.
Yeah, it was like a
oh my God,
disbelief. Like, this couldn't possibly be a goal in the final seconds. Like, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's so terrible.
If we can not have Unimas games anymore, that would be great.
Yeah.
Nothing against the channel itself, but the people and it's been like that for the past 3 years. The announcers, I feel like the whole time they just talked about Miguel Almiron, not being there, and just I don't know.
What happened to Sunderland this weekend? I saw that it was an own goal, and it was in their relegation playoff game.
Oh, I don't pay attention to that far.
Yeah, they were in relegation playoffs or relegation, whatever they're like.
No. That would have been playoffs for promotion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they were playing for promotion
into the championship.
Right. And
they're
I
in League One right now.
I think that they advanced. Somebody can correct me. All I saw was that the highlights and the opposing team that were playing accidentally scored an own goal or something like that to allow.
Yeah, Charlton actually ended up advancing.
Oh, okay.
So Charlton beat out
Sunderland.
Hold on. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
So did Sunderland score the own goal then? That's hilarious if that's the case. That's even more funny. I just saw that it was a huge thing and everybody was like, well, this is just Netflix fodder basically for Sunderland Until I Die season 3 or whatever.
Hold on.
Coming
yeah,
up.
let me find it. Sunderland.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Sunderland. No. Charlton scored an own goal.
They did, but they still ended up winning.
In the 5th minute. Charlton then scored a goal, and then Charlton scored again in last gasp stoppage time at the end of the game to end up winning the playoff final.
Wow.
So they are one of 3 teams moving forward. I don't know who else is getting promoted from League One. I don't pay attention that far down. I did see that Derby County got beat out by Dan's not here. Maybe he's in depression because
this is my new favorite thing. Is just randomly scrolling through the suggested tweets because of all the soccer engagement. It's just seeing random stuff like that. The other one, did you see the Netherlands the referee in Netherlands that scored the goal? It's just his trot afterwards is so
he's just like, sorry. So hey,
it was a pretty good goal though.
He scored it and then pointed to half field. Like that's, I'm sure somebody did the deal with it. Sunglasses.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure. I'm sure
had to have happened.
It's pretty great. I guess that rule is going to change within the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, it has to, right?
Yeah,
it's silly
have to,
because he is he's a bystander of the game. He doesn't play for either team, so he's
so funny,
so stupid. But yeah, much to Dan's chagrin, Aston Villa ended up beating out Derby County this morning, I believe, or maybe it was yesterday, to win the playoff for Premier League.
Do you know if
promotion.
Champions League is going to be playing in the stadium before the game Saturday?
I don't.
Because the game is at 1:30, right? I should know based on the amount of fucking advertisements have been going on lately and every game that I watch.
The champion.
I'm pretty sure it's at 1:30 Saturday. So maybe that's too far in advance of the Chicago game for them to have it on. Because if it's at 1:30, then
I am not watching that with anybody but probably just my wife, because I am gonna be
just
you ever make fresh tortellini?
Knuckered, puckered, chubbered, and topped is what you're gonna. That's what your hash browns are gonna be.
Dude, last year I watched it by myself at home too, and it was just I just don't want to be around people if something goes down like it did last year. I don't want to be, because not everybody's going to be as classy as you and like not give me shit about it. Yeah. So
that was one of my favorite things so far this season was not watching any or knowing anything about Champions League or EPL or anything, but watching the Liverpool match and against Barcelona and just live tweeting like how happy I was for you without any real vested interest in it.
Felt nice. That was my final.
FaceTiming you.
What's funny is the screenshots you took made it look like I was crying when I definitely wasn't.
Oh, you were definitely crying.
No, I'm not crying. No, you've seen me cry. And I ugly cry. So it's not. Yeah.
I wish Angie would just let me make those pictures of you at the wedding into memes.
Yeah,
so bad. Just ugly crying.
Those are going to stay in the vault. They're going to stay in the vault.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Chelsea in the Europa League final. Anyway, so how much of the lineup decision in terms of playing more pensive and obviously not playing as many playmakers on Friday against RSL, how much of that was we need a fucking break? Like we need rest. Yeah. This game isn't that important, I guess.
Yeah. Especially because we still have a game in hand. Even with a win, we can jump up to the third. The problem right now is that we're sitting down in fifth because of everybody else having a game in hand on us, or we have a game in hand on everybody else at this point.
So yeah, right now the standings are DC's played 15 games.
Yeah. Red Bulls are up in the third.
Philly's played 14. New York Red Bulls have played 14. Montreal played 15. We've played 13. NYCFC has one game in hand on us.
Yeah.
They have 12.
They could potentially jump up ahead of us.
And then Toronto. What happened to Columbus, man? They have 9 losses this year.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
They started out really hot too.
Yeah, that's really nuts. Anyway,
Everybody got
so
on that. Everybody saved the crew, and then they stopped caring.
so technically, if we make up those 2 games on DC United and we get wins in those, we'll take over the lead in the East. That's if Philly doesn't win.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that's not counting what Red Bulls and
No, I mean Red Bulls, we would still eclipse them. We would be on 26 points. They would be on 24.
and NYCFC can still jump us. If they won theirs too. Right?
Yeah, let's see, 3 games. Yeah,
they
would actually. Yeah,
but they'd have to win all 3, which is tall.
I don't know. Yeah, they have 7 draws
because they just drew Orlando this past weekend, right? Or did they end up beating Orlando?
They drew Chicago.
Chicago, that's who they drew. I knew they drew this past weekend. Orlando lost this past weekend to LAFC, right? No, Galaxy. I think they lost to Galaxy this weekend because that game was on right before ours.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah,
LAFC just keeps continuing to roll. I mean, are we of the opinion that
just steamrolling everybody right now? What are they up to? 35 points, and the next closest is like 27 or something.
26, 34 points, 26.
Damn, I was close. It's like I looked at that or something.
But the scary thing about this, so I want to say, you guys in the trap. Is there anybody right now that you see beating LAFC for the championship? I feel like it's their cup to have, but at the same time, I will say that Seattle being in second with a game in hand, they could potentially be only 5 points behind a steamrolling LAFC, and they're a team that notoriously starts slowly.
Their cup to win is a tall order considering DC United's having a pretty great season themselves.
Yeah, I feel like they're a little inconsistent, though. I think they're a little up and down. I mean, what's Carlos Vela on right now? 15 goals. He's going to break Joseph's record.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Yeah. He stays healthy. He's going to score 35 goals this year.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And Brian Olivas mentions that it's still a long season to go. I mean, we're only in week 13 right now, so you're right. We're not even at the halfway point. But my God, do you see that slowing down?
I don't. With LAFC, they're so deep. I mean, they like lose players or they're trading players, and I feel like they keep getting better.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me. And Bob Bradley, as much as I hate to say it, can coach at this level. He can't coach at the U.S. men's national team level. He fucking sucked. But
right now is the time of the season that I start paying attention to other teams around the league. Put it that way. To Brian's point, it is a long season. And I think right now we're getting to the point in the season where you can kind of see where within a couple of spots, knock on wood for Atlanta United's sake, where most of the teams are going to fall.
Yeah.
Aside from there's always going to be somebody that just tanks out of nowhere. But overall, I think that within, let's say, a swing of 3 positions for every team, who's going to be the top 2 or 3 teams out of the East and West right now, I think pretty convincingly. I mean,
you think so?
I mean, unless something happens with Philly, like Red Bulls.
That's true. Philly are deep too, and that's right. The other thing is I think Philly, like they built with a long-term intention, and them adding somebody like Marco Fabian into the mix there has been. It seems like it's been at least a turning point for them, and they've been a good team. No, you're right. I mean, I think. Right now, third is between us and Red Bulls.
Right. I think Atlanta United is somewhere in that 3rd to 6th range.
You want to hear something crazy?
And it depends on what happens with these other teams. If Philly stays where they have been, and convincingly so, they're going to be in that 1 or 2 spot. DC United, even with their inconsistencies, hasn't really wavered from the 1 or 2 spot, even with that. So I think that they stay there. Red Bulls always in the mix in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I don't think that they're necessarily a team built to take the Supporter Shield again, but I think that they're somewhere in the 2, 3, 4 range. And I think Atlanta United somewhere in the 3, 4, 5 range, somewhere right around in there. Again, the lower part of the playoff table always ends up getting kind of shaken up towards the end, and you may see some things there. But I think...
What about Montreal? Do you see them as a number 4 seed? Because you want to hear something crazy? They're the only, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, well, I guess in the East, they're the only playoff team right now that has a negative goal differential. They're in 4th with a -6 goal differential.
That's crazy.
Also, Atlanta United still tied for the best defense in the league.
Now, to Bryant's point, I could see, you're absolutely right. I could see this Atlanta United team getting really hot come August or September, especially if Barco, who we didn't mention, stays as hot as he is, even traveling down to the U20s with Argentina, getting his brace this past weekend. I don't know if you saw the fucking banger he put in.
Yeah.
Good God.
That boy's trying to get sold.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
dude. If we keep him and he keeps playing the way he has been, both with us and traveling with the U20s, whenever we get him back, the combination of him, a Pity Martinez who you hope and expect to see settle in a little bit more as things progress. I think he's been okay. He's been serviceable over the past few games, maybe not living up to all the hype and expectation that we all have of him, but it's been on a positive trajectory overall. Yes, we all have complaints about him, but Barco, Nagbe, Pity Martinez, Joseph Martinez, who's going to do what Joseph's going to do. I think the only question, I mean, even Tito, whenever Tito's been on, he's been great. I think the question, exactly. The question mark for me right now is what happens with Julian Gressel, because in order for Atlanta United to get hot in August and September, you have to have some sort of a viable option at right wing, which is shocking to me. That a league where we've sat here offside trap after offside trap and talked to every single team and how every team struggles at the left back position week in and week out. And we have a player like Julian Gressel, who was a rookie of the year, 2 years removed from that position, who had the most assists last year for Atlanta United, or was it Miggy? One of the,
I want to say he had the most assists.
To this year, who just seems to be sort of lost in translation in the lineup. Like, in order for that to happen, Julian's got to start clicking somehow in this lineup and formation, because right now he just seems lost to me. There hasn't been a lot of those standout performances where you see him doing what he wants to do on that right wing position.
Yeah, and I don't know if at this point he loses that starting position whenever Barco comes back. Because what I can see happening is PD on the left, Barco in the hole, and then Tito on the right.
I could absolutely see that.
Because from that standpoint, you have PD Martinez and Barco, who are interchangeable, kind of interweaving on that side of the field that can feed crosses in a la Julian Gressel, while you have Tito that can run straight at that the poor left back.
Yep.
As you were mentioning. I don't know. I hope he sorts it out. I trust that he will sort it out. I don't think he's been an outstanding performer. Love Julian Gressel. Over the past 2 years, he set the bar so high for himself. Right now, it's becoming a little apparent that
he's not living up to his own standards that he set for himself, really,
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that you read into based on short amount of rest or whatever it is, new system, yada, yada, yada. But I have full confidence that he's a capable player and a capable individual to succeed in this system. But in order for Atlanta to get hot, you've got to have him be a part of that equation.
Yeah. I think when you're talking about P.D. Martinez, I don't have any doubts that he is going to end up being the performer we need him to be. And I think that, like you said, he's on an upward trajectory. Yeah. I think he's getting more comfortable with the team, and I think he's playing better and better. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about him at this point. So
Justin Meram in the 10. What about Justin Meram in a starting role?
I wouldn't mind that either, because he can play at the defense. He can play against. He can play 1v1s, and he can play make off of that. I think that putting him in there, I think, gives us a different option. And putting him in at the 10, I'm guessing, if you're asking about putting Meram at the 10, are you talking about putting PD at the wing?
I would put him in the 10 and put PD.
No, I've liked what I've seen from Meram on the right side. Whenever he's come in and played right wing, I think for his ability to cut in and distribute, we saw it in the first game where he got subbed in against Orlando, where he almost teed up, I want to say he teed up Joseph to score a goal. And he's looked dangerous. I think that it's just a matter of time really integrating into the squad. I have no objection to him starting. I have no objection to him coming, especially when we're dealing with the absence of Ezequiel Barco. And then,
so Elliot even mentions Nagbe as the 10. So is that not what we just had this past weekend against RSL? Was Nagbe essentially playing the 10? Because it wasn't Jeff Lorenowitz, it wasn't Eric Remedi, it wasn't Gressel, it wasn't Joseph Martinez. So in my opinion, that's what we got, was Nagbe as the 10. And I don't think that's the right. I don't think that's the right direction for this team.
It's not his proper position. He's a number 8, and his ability to link the defense to the offense and be able to track backwards and forwards.
And Joe Johnstone kind of points that out, that he's got nobody there to really get him the ball or to feed off of. I think Nagbe succeeds based on having a 10 to play counter to with defenses in the midfield. The midfield has to respond to a true number 10 that is going to move left, right, up and down all over the field and distribute, that they have to pay attention and pull off of their position to adjust to. And as soon as they do, Nagbe's there to punish them. Like that's where he succeeds at. He's not the person doing all of that movement and distribution. I think he is a perfectly skilled and talented player whenever he's playing that role, but I don't think that he can be the lone distribution gear in the midfield.
No, not at all. I think he is there to set the pace of the game. He is there to slow it down, to distribute, to completely reset the game once it hits the midfield.
God almighty, Kendrick Brock. Once we fire Frank de Boer, all of our players will fix themselves and we will score golazos every game. Jeffrey Goldenstein, complaint with pity, plays no defense, gives up on plays. I will concede that fact. I agree. I don't think that he is a player that is built to track back and run down balls.
And I don't know that,
but I don't know that he's necessarily supposed to be either.
No, I was going to say
I think Barco is that.
I don't know if it's fair right now to criticize Petey for that, because I don't know if that's being asked of him. If Frank de Boer is not asking that of him, then I don't expect him to necessarily do that, because how many times? Well, you play mostly center defense mid, but I can't tell you how many times I would get so frustrated because I would play forward and I would track back on defense because people would ask me to track back and they go, why aren't you forward? I was like, you tell me to track back, but if they're not telling him to track back, he needs to stay forward because he needs to be there to start the play for Joseph. In terms of giving up on plays, I will give him that, but I think that that's just going to come with time. I think that he is going to adapt a little better to we've seen it with Barco too.
Kendrick with a actual comment now. I'm fine with Petty not getting back on defense, but I do hate when he flops or a foul and just sits there with his arms held up instead of pressuring the ball 10 feet away. I can agree with that. That is a big frustration for me as well. It's not that I'm expecting him to run 50 yards back to play defense, but when he goes to ground, doesn't get the whistle, and doesn't immediately recognize that to get back up and play the individual that stripped him of the ball, or the play is developed 10 to 15 yards around him, that's really frustrating to see. I totally agree with that. So yeah, obviously we wanted to see the win against RSL, a upper middle team in the West, not anything super crazy. Not a team that you expected to lose to. I genuinely thought the equalizer would come once we had some offensive power.
Right, because
we got it.
We really took control of the game for a while.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of, you get beat by a worldie like that. It's just not something that happens every game, and it's okay to be salty about it. But at the same time, I will take that every single day of the week.
It is only a month removed from the exact same situation we have, almost, aside from the fact that we conceded 2 goals, but a very similar situation to what we had on July 4th last year against Dallas. When you give up a goal in the last moments of the game. And it's a learning opportunity for this team to recognize the fact that you stole a point from RSL. And then you ended up giving them right back to them.
Yeah.
Whenever you fought back, you had the point. You were clearly in the last moments of the game, and Frank de Boer is yelling out like, "Take a foul!" Like he's deliberately telling the players, foul him. Like just stop the run of play.
How happy were you with his direction from the touchline?
Yeah, that's the right call there. If you're that close to the end of the game, you take the foul, you go to the set piece. Hell, you take a damn card if you have to, but you don't give up a goal on the road at the end of your road stretch whenever you had fought so hard to get that point back in the last moments of the game. It's a learning opportunity for all of those guys. But ultimately, it doesn't upset me nearly as much as the learning exercise that I think the Red Bulls game was hopefully for Frank and the rest of the team, where that's where I got frustrated that you end up losing a game where you're up a man for more than half of the match because you seem completely devoid of any sort of thoughts or creativity as it relates to the offense. That's way more frustrating to me than recognizing the fact that the lineup puts you at a disadvantage for any sort of chance creation out the gate against an RSL team on the road with little rest, that you adjust to that in the second half. You clearly start winning the game. You clearly take control of the game. You get that equalizing goal back, and then you just come up short in the last few seconds of the game. I'm okay with that. Put it aside. Yes, it's disappointing. Yes, it's a bummer. But that Red Bulls game, man, that's going to stick in my craw for the rest of the season, especially if they end up beating us out by 1 or 2 positions, knowing that the playoff structure has been reconfigured the way it has been. If they end up locking up a 4th place position and Atlanta United misses it and ends up sitting in the 5th or 6th spot or whatever it is that ends up giving up our home field advantage, like that's going to be what's frustrating to me, is giving up a game like that more so than an RSL game, especially against a team in your conference.
Agree. Yeah, absolutely agree. And to Richard Gordon's question earlier, how the poll netted out, we had 247 votes on it, and 52%, it was pretty close. 52% said the final seconds loss to RSL is going to hurt them the most. And
I wonder how much of that was just knee jerk because of the time that I posted it. It could be.
It might have been, but to your point,
it was almost 50-50, which is crazy.
Yeah. The main thing I will take as a positive, because I am a positive, I'm more of an optimist than I'm a pessimist, especially when it comes to sports. And it's usually why I keep getting let down time and time again. I don't learn. But the fact that we're not, take the DC game out of it to start the season, because that was like, I would say that's not really
our Houston game from last year, or any other game.
I would actually say our Columbus game was our Houston game because of the weather in DC. The weather in DC was really, it's hard to judge.
Well, the Columbus game, you don't want to talk about fucking weather, dude. Jesus, that's the game that we're swimming the entire match.
Oh, am I getting the two mixed up?
Yeah, the Columbus game was the game that it was a downpour where they were in 6 inches of water the entire game. I'm pretty sure that was the Columbus match.
I'm getting the two mixed up. I don't know why. Yeah. Either way, what I'm trying to get at is, aside from the one of those 2 games, whichever didn't have the weather, you got me all mixed up in my head. We're not giving up more than a goal lead. Like, we've lost 2 games outside of those to Dallas and 3 games. Sorry, to Dallas, RSL, and the New York Red Bulls, but they've all been by 1 goal. In 13 games, we've given up 11 goals total.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that, because to me, that is the base of what you should expect. That's your baseline now. Like, your defense is, as much as people hate it, right? As much as people will complain about us being a defense first team or what have you, possession based, and then a good defensive team rather than an electrifying offensive team. I'll take that. I'll take it. I don't.
And again, it goes back to the whole, if you start to compare Red Bulls versus the RSL match, right, where you talk about what the shortcomings were in a defensively based team, in a defensively based lineup, you had the playmakers in for, aside from Barco, the entirety of that Red Bulls match.
When did Breck Shea come in?
Well, Breck Shea,
to me, he's a playmaker over Parkhurst, but I'll give it to you. But yeah, if you're talking about the front,
you had Escobar and Pitti, and you had your lineup in there.
True, yeah,
against the Red Bulls. So that's the frustration to me.
Absolutely.
And that, against RSL, you can say, well, the shortcoming of being a defensively structured team is whenever your lineup doesn't give you anything to create anything offensively whenever you have opportunities, but you don't have that leg to stand on against that Red Bulls team. And maybe that was just a fluke, and the goal was a really nice goal, and Guzan just kind of gets called out. He just gets in no man's land, really, where he doesn't come off his line. He doesn't quite stay on it. He misreads his angle. He just can't track over. But still, man, to not put a goal in against that Red Bulls team is really, really frustrating.
They have a good defense, though, too, man.
I know they do. But whenever you've got that lineup in that game, a man up, and to not even seem really threatening is just, that's the frustration.
I mean, I get it, but with as many or as few people that show up to Red Bull Stadium as they do, it's still a tough place to go and play. It's tough to go away from home, especially given the stretch that we were in. Granted, we were up a man, but at the same time,
Is it though? Was Red Bulls really a tough place to play with all of 8,000 people in attendance?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even I think it's
Was
tough.
it?
Yes, coming off of traveling to Vancouver, it makes it a tough place. While
It's a tough place based on the circumstance, but not based on the atmosphere.
I don't know. We haven't won up there. We haven't drawn up there. No, maybe we do have one draw up there, but still.
Okay. Look, man, I saw Jay Riddle's video. I watched it live. I saw what that crowd was like. I'm not convinced that was a intimidating.
I'm not saying, no, I didn't. You're not listening. I didn't say it was intimidating. I said as few people as showed up, it's still tough to go in there and play. I'm not saying that the crowd was intimidating. I just think it's tough on the road regardless.
Irregardless.
And I might even say it's tougher to play in front of an empty stadium than it is in front of a bigger crowd.
Because you feel more like it doesn't matter as much, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. I wonder what the players feel like whenever they go into a stadium and it's just empty.
Point.
When they go and play against all
right, Brian. All right, Brian. That's tricky sports math. Hindsight's 2020. If we won all of our games this season, we'd be well ahead in first. If we had won these last two games, Atlanta United would be first place.
But I think I think that's a fair hypothetical, just due to the fact that how those two games were given up.
Absolutely.
Those are two games we could have and should have won, or at least drawn. Like, we should have at least drawn the RSL game.
Absolutely.
We should have won the Red Bulls game. And maybe that's why that one, to your with your phrase, that sticks in my craw too.
Yeah.
More so than the RSL game, is because I don't think that we should have won that RSL game. I would have been happy with a point going out there, being able to recover from that early goal.
Absolutely.
But losing that Red Bulls game, it does sting. It hurts, especially since, as Bobby Warshaw put it, it's the best rivalry in MLS right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's pretty evident. I've seen a couple of mentions of some voicemails that we got this past weekend. If you want to get yours in, 678-827-3297. Phone lines are always open. If you want to get your thoughts in after a match, whenever, before you go to bed at night, whenever you wake up in the morning, we're always listening. Always here to hear your thoughts. Thoughts, THOT.
Home before dark, don't be evil.
What's that?
Like Google's old thing that they got rid of. They struck "Don't be evil" from their creed. What is it?
678-827-3297.
678-827-3297.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to work the way you typed it. It's going to block it. Maybe it went.
Nope. 678-827-3297. I think I want to say. Let's see if we have. I have one.
Just from Joe?
I think so. Yeah.
You just hold it up to your mic on speaker, and then you don't have to mess with the whole thing again. If it's
a minute and a half, though.
Oh my God, you guys are getting outrageous. I like it though. Is it just one? I'll take 1 minute and a half voicemail over.
Yes.
6:30 ones. Like, oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
All right, I'm gonna attempt playing it. That's the thing. Like, we bought this mixer. It was almost never used, but it lived in the house with a smoker, and I think that like messed up some of these ports.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Not what he was sticking in those ports.
All right, guys. Fresh thoughts right after the match on Friday. You'll get it on Monday. Per Michelle, because she called in because humor is going to make this all okay. I believe we're down to 83 points or bust. My gripe is more of the environment created by those English SAP commentators from Unimog that were just talking about whatever they wanted to talk about, not relating to play-by-play. So, I mean, last match after a really condensed schedule, teams looking tired, moving at different speeds. really just trying to vent and kind of joke about this situation with these Umas commentators because, oh my God, I went from Spanish to English to muted English back to verbal English, and then the things they were saying, and then all of a sudden it was like butterfly, double rainbow. Oh my God, I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but I really want to rewatch the SAP commentators and do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 on it, because that I think would be the most hilarious thing we could do given the result of the match. Anyway, I'll catch up with this on Monday. Not entirely sure what I'm saying. So, hope you guys are well. Catch up with you guys soon. Bye.
I think the only solution here is that we need the Home Before Dark companion podcast to
For away games, just
For
start
away
doing away
games.
games live.
we got to start doing away games live.
Can we be your guys' commentary for away
I
games?
think that's what we need to have happen. And we can maybe turn it into a collaborative with other content creators around Atlanta where we all just kind of get together and watch the match and commentate on it live. Can't have Kelly Francis in here, though. She'll blow out all the mics.
Yes.
That girl, she yells a lot. A lot of yelling.
Yeah. Oh, yikes.
What?
Yikes. Kendrick said, I'll take Dan and Tim. No Kevin.
That's fine. I'll just, I'll watch. I like to watch.
I didn't listen to the Unimas broadcast really. So, but I can hear the Julian Gressel. So that seemed to be something that really stuck out to a lot of people, that annoyed a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's what we need.
We
We need a relatable commentary.
Brian Reynolds says Red Bulls isn't a rivalry. We can't put double standards on rivalries. I don't know, man. I feel like just there's a lot of bad blood. I just feel like there's a lot of bad blood. It's a very competitive.
The fucking Kamara thing alone.
Kamar?
Not Kamar. No,
Yeah.
Kamar. Not
Kamar Lawrence, yeah.
Not Kai Kamara. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Yeah.
I don't know. Minnesota's coming off 2 wins.
Yep. Short rest.
Coming into Atlanta. Where do they stand right now in the West?
Upper middle. I think they're 6th.
They're 5th.
Damn it. Sorry, Pirlo. Scared the bejesus
Yeah, you
out of
did.
him.
Come here, buddy.
It's all right. Look at his eyes. I just woke him up out of a deep slumber.
Good grief.
Sorry,
Speaking
buddy.
of, who disturbs my slumber? Did you go watch Aladdin this weekend?
No, and I won't be because it looks fucking terrible. I'm really excited for Detective Pikachu, however, and I've only heard good things about that.
I haven't seen that yet. You and me need to make a mandate. Out of
Yeah,
that.
we definitely need to.
An individual. It'll be a group mandate, not an individual mandate.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. But yeah, I will not be watching the live action Aladdin. That's for fucking sure. What's the last movie you watched? Endgame?
Yeah, the last one that we saw in theaters was Endgame.
I hate how much movies are now in theaters. I sound like such an old fucking
How
man.
much-
I know that you got that other theater.
How much they cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, just come to the one in
Yeah.
Decatur with me.
Stop. Don't tell them. Don't tell the people.
$3 matinees on
Yeah.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat that. There's no beating that.
Yeah, Endgame was the last thing I saw too. I still haven't seen Us. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
There's a bunch. I got a bunch that I haven't seen yet. That I
We
need
need a
to.
banter goes to the movies.
We do. We do. That'd be good.
You guys want to see some funny shit? Go look that
God,
up.
that's awful now. I don't even
So
want to
bad.
think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, some of those old Home Before Dark, before it was Home Before Dark videos. I'm sure.
Oh
Just
yeah, really
terrible.
bad. Yeah, we had like the broadcaster lower third underneath us.
It's good. It's good stuff.
I don't know how it is. I don't know how good it is. Let me pull up the fantasy rankings because we did have double games.
I like this as a discussion. Which will be worse? Aladdin or the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie got delayed until Valentine's Day of next year. It was supposed to come out later this year, but because of the backlash for the way that Sonic the Hedgehog looked,
The teeth?
it was
human teeth?
so bad that they have to go back and redo all of it. So it's gotten delayed till February of next year.
Guess what? They wouldn't have had to redo it if what, Kevin? If they would have done it right the first time.
I am willing to bet that Sonic will be worse than Aladdin because I at least know what to expect out of the plot lines of Aladdin. Sonic could very easily just be off the fucking rails the entire way through it.
Yeah. Is Knuckles in it?
I don't know.
There's no Knuckles.
I haven't seen Knuckles or Tails. I haven't seen anything for either one of them. And I don't know. Knuckles, okay, I'll give you that. Like, Knuckles was definitely the coolest character design out of all of the Sonic characters. But if you eliminate Tails entirely from a Sonic movie, I don't know how you get away with that.
And what the other question is it Dr. Robotnik or whatever Dr. Eggman?
Yeah.
What did they end up?
No, Eggman I thought was Mega Man, right?
Well, probably. That sounds like a terrible. No, Sonic. They changed it from Dr. Robotnik to Dr. Egg something. Hold on, Dr. Egg and Hog. Dr. Eggman.
Is that what they changed it to? Really?
Yeah, he's Dr. Eggman.
Oh
now.
yeah.
It was Dr. Robotnik. Though.
Why did they change it?
I don't know. Dr. Evo Eggman Robotnik.
That's interesting.
Anyway, he was always Dr. Robotnik whenever I was
speaking of Mega Man, I think there's a live action Mega Man movie in the works too, if I'm not mistaken.
Live action?
I think so.
That's weird.
I think so. Why is that weird?
I don't know. Mega Man has a lot. Who's going to play him? Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I mean, his whole face is his whole face is covered with a fucking helmet. His whole body's covered up with armor anyway.
Who's going to play Zero?
Ooh, that's a good
Sean
one.
Penn from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You have Spicoli playing Zero.
That'd be pretty great.
Yeah. Here are your Home Before Dark Fantasy League standings.
Oh
from
God,
the MLS
Last
app.
Airbender. That was so bad.
I didn't watch it.
It was so bad. Such a disservice to such a fucking great franchise. Start to finish, Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. So good to see such a terrible adaptation. Oh, it was bad.
Number 5, we have For Whom the Bellow Tolls. That's a good fantasy name. Mark ER. The app cuts off your full names. Thought Marker, Michael German, Furman, German, German. In 4th, we have FC Apogee, Nathan Lyons, last season's champion, I should say. In 3rd place, Don't Var Me Bro, Matt in 2nd place. And then soccer specific fantasy team, Andy.
Just tearing
MFing Watkins. Just right now he is 1 point. Sorry, he's 10 points ahead of 2nd place.
Ooh, that's not much.
It's razor thin right now.
It's not much.
It is razor thin. I hope what Bryant's talking about is something that's going to happen.
Oh my God!
Knuckles and Tails will be in the end credit scene, leading the way to the Sonic cinematic universe. Meet and greet this week with Arby's Cheddar, Beef and Cheddars.
Not this week. I'm out this week for Wednesday.
For me, it's Big Montana or bust. So
I'm going Meat Mountain or bust.
Okay, I'll double up on my I'll appear and all that day.
Or
Mountain.
I am a big fan of the ranch bacon, like the turkey bacon ranch, the market fresh sandwich at Arby's. I really like that.
I can't say I've had. This is gonna sound bad.
Good.
I haven't had Arby's in like 10 years.
Oh,
probably.
dude, I go to Arby's at least. Like what? Y'all hating. I go to Arby's. That's how you know you got to ride or die. Katie and I will roll through Arby's at least 2 or 3 times a month.
Jeez.
At least.
Jeez.
It good? I like it.
Yeah. No, I do too. I just
still
can't eat
fuck
it.
with
I just
man.
can't
That 3
eat it
pepper
anymore.
sauce.
Yeah, 3 pepper sauce is good. It's a little sweet, but it's good.
I like that 3 pepper sauce. Who's got the best sauce in the game? Top to bottom, Chick-fil-A's got to be dominating, right? I mean, they just got so much of it.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me,
Oh,
sir.
the Black and Ranch?
Excuse me, sir. You brought a Popeyes cup in here, and you're telling me they're not the sauce boss?
Black and Ranch?
Black and Ranch Head and Shoulders
Or
above.
Mardi Gras mustard. Mardi Gras. I know you're not a mustard fan, but that Mardi Gras mustard is fucking amazing. But Black and Ranch, though, I don't know, man. I get one of both because you need something for them biscuits.
Dude, have
You seen those memes? Like, she told me to choke her, so I gave her a Popeye's biscuit. I gave her a Popeye's biscuit, nothing to drink.
How could something be so buttery and so dry at the same time?
Oh, the Taco Bell fire sauce. That's a good one.
It is.
It's a good one.
It's a good sauce, but it's the same sauce in different levels.
Okay, now here's another. So here's the kicker, right? So how many of the sauces that we're talking about are contingent upon being eaten with the food served at the establishment?
I'll eat that. I'll drink Black and Ranch from Popeyes. You're talking about a kid who made a ranch and soy sauce sandwich as a kid.
I would just So would you just like Go-Gurt one? If I just filled up an Otter Pop sleeve with some Black and Ranch, you just
yeah. It would probably ruin it for me for the rest of my life, but it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Oh man. Yeah. That's tough, man.
Is that true? I don't know if that's true, Brian. Brian's
What?
asking if it's true what I said about Taco Bell. It's the same sauce, just different levels of hot.
Ooh, I don't know. I've never heard that.
I don't know if I just made it up. I just feel like there's not much deviation between those.
I haven't had Taco Bell in a while. That's one I haven't been to in a minute. I did eat Chick-fil-A, or I ate Cookout after that loss. I tweeted about that. It's my own like stages of grief going through Cookout.
Yeah.
So what's your Cookout order?
It is the Cajun chicken sandwich with 2 chicken quesadillas as sides.
Ooh, I go barbecue.
Or onion rings and chicken quesadilla.
See,
Onion rings are pretty good.
So my problem with their sides, especially the onion rings and the chicken nuggets,
There's
is
4 of them.
the ratio.
Yeah.
Right? So I go barbecue sandwich, chicken quesadilla, Cajun fries.
And this is like I've ordered a platter from them or a tray from them probably like 4 or 5 times in my
That
life.
peanut butter banana milkshake is where it's at, though. Because I use the real bananas. That shit's so good.
See, I can't eat that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Not with that attitude, but you can. You got the surgery, dude.
Well-
You got to do it again. Fucking do it again. Oh my God. My big toe started hurting today. And I was like, oh, no.
DeBoer gout. Michelle's asking where Dan James in. He's usually reels us back in. Michelle, Aston Villa got promoted yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday whenever they played. So Dan is in grief right now. He is he's in hiding.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about who's the sauce boss and Detective Pikachu. What do you expect?
Yeah. So Minnesota on Wednesday night. I'm going to be at the game. Kevin will not. I am very much expecting a win out of that game, especially if we're going to be fielding our playmakers. And
I'm expecting a win for sure. Surely the results of both the Red Bulls matches, the Red Bulls and RSL matches, have lit a fire under everybody involved, from the coaching to the players, that they are coming home with an intent to fucking bring the heat this week.
Yeah.
Got to.
I think so. And then on Saturday, speaking of the heat, the Bridgeport Fire are coming to Atlanta on Saturday. And I expect to win out of that too.
Yeah. Does that draw this past week against
NYC
concern you at all?
No, they're a very up and down team. We've seen them beat the brakes off of people, and then we've seen them lose games that they probably should win based off of those
that
games.
Big win against New England a couple weeks ago.
It was 4-0, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect with that team. But all I know what to expect is that they're going to be an inconsistent team.
Yeah.
Minnesota is still without. So to Elliot's point, good offensive team, bad defensive team. I think has Ike Opara even seen the field yet for Minnesota since that trade? I don't know that he has. That's something I've been meaning to look at.
Oh,
no, I guess he has. He's played 11 games. He started 10 of them. So I'm just crazy. He just hasn't played in the last couple games. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, he just had only 7 minutes against Houston.
If you had to pick another team, another two teams to watch in MLS right now, because I feel like we all kind of passively watch other teams, at least their other result. Who'd you be watching right now? LAFC?
The two teams from LA, I think. Just because Zlatan, for better or worse, is always a spectacle to watch.
I'm thinking LA and LAFC and right now. Because to your point about DC being up and down, I'm interested to see where that train goes.
Yeah. Also, Sporting KC, after what Johnny Russell did to Seattle this weekend. I don't know if you saw that individual effort he had. He had a hat trick against Seattle, but the second goal that he scored was ridiculous. He weaved his way through about 5 defenders on.
Is that the one that he split the two guys? Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there were about 5 guys that could have and should have stopped him on his way to that goal.
5 guys. That's another good fast food.
No.
You're not a fan of 5 guys?
I'm not a fan of 5 guys.
Oh, okay.
They don't put char on their burger. I feel like their burger is almost like it's cooked in a medium heat pan. That's what it feels like.
It's sous vide.
Oh God, a
sous
vide hamburger. I gotta.
It's confit.
No, Smash Burger and BurgerFi are the two chain ones that I like.
Oh, BurgerFi's all right. I like BurgerFi.
But Village Burger in Tucker, in downtown Tucker.
Oh yeah,
that's my jam. Yeah.
There's one up in Dunwoody too. It's pretty solid.
They have Village Burger in Dunwoody?
I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
We're talking about the same place. No reviews, no ratings, no love for the boys. Dan is going to be in studio more often now. Is that right?
I don't know.
Is that the plan?
Are you putting him on the spot?
I hope so.
I don't think that's the plan.
Well,
from what I understand.
I guess we'll see. That goes. May or may not be seeing more or less of Dan. I guess we'll see.
We are going to start probably getting more guests in here whenever we are devoid of Dan. So
yeah. So keep an eye out for that. However you spent your Memorial Day, to those of you that hung out with us live in the trap this Monday and every Monday, we appreciate you. If you want to be a part of the shenanigans, be sure to subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell Holcomb icon to get a notification whenever we go live. And yeah, Twitter at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. Ratings and reviews on iTunes always help. And tell a friend. See you next week. As always, be home before dark.